Straight out the boot room to Wembley, our second home. We come to conquer, no, we never walk alone. We dominate, the cream of the crop, drawing all our strength from the roar of the cock. It's all for one and one for all. Pass a move, we're talking total football. Here we go again, Roy's red machine. Liverpool, the greatest team the world has ever seen. Pass a move, it's the Liverpool crew. Pass a move, it's the Liverpool crew. Pass a move, 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 it's the Liverpool crew.
Hello and welcome back to the Liverpool Groove. Liverpool got the first win of the season. Lovely little 3-1 win over Bournemouth. I'm going to discuss that. Just wanted to start off by saying rest in peace to Michael. Obviously the young Everton fan who sadly died working on the Bramley Moore stadium. Great tribute in the ground yesterday. Thought it was a lovely touch. I didn't expect anything different, but it was great to see. A really, really nice touch. And yeah, just thoughts to his family.
Yeah, same. Obviously, horrible time for his family and his friends and that. Not a nice situation at all. So everyone at Liverpool's give the condolences to them, and I think the cop showed the respect. The whole ground stood up for him. A blue flag on the cop with an Everton badge on, with his name, carried by two staunch Liverpool fans, one of which I know personally, Carl, and I know how much he hates Everton. So for him to do something like that just shows you how much like this is bigger than football. So fair play to the lads with the flag, fair play to everyone involved, and you know, rest in peace to Michael, because yeah, it is a fucking sad situation.
Yeah, like I say, these things are bigger than football, and it's always nice to see when something so unfortunate and sad like this does happen, that you know the city does come together with it. It's always good to see. So yeah, like you say, just thinking of the family, great by the fans and everyone in the stadium, and yeah, again, just thinking of his family. But on to the match itself. Now, I didn't get to watch it. I was working, trying to find a stream for the first half and just failing miserably. Gave up in the end. So I've only really got match of the day to go off. But Jay, obviously you were there. First impressions in the flesh then of Szobo. I think from what I've seen and what I've heard and stuff like that, he ran the game. It was like he was unbelievable.
Yeah, lad, it was like being in a time fucking warp or whatever you want to call it. Seeing a number 8 running rings around players, knocking the ball past them and receiving it the other side of a player, playing simple passes but effective passes, long passes, being creative, running down the wing, running through the middle, absolutely everywhere. He was, you know, what we discussed the other week about wanting a player who could like be similar to Gerrard and a player similar to Alonso and then Mascherano. I think with him, he looks a very fitting tribute to that number 8 shirt. At the moment, there was times where you forgot who he was and who he wasn't, because he was that good.
Yeah, no, he looked brilliant. I think match of the day highlighted him. And yeah, he was just everywhere, dribbling past players, just taking people on. He's not afraid. Like he doesn't play his age, if you know what I mean. Like he's only 22 and he plays like a much more mature player. He's got a proper, you can tell he's got a really good football brain.
Yeah, he doesn't force anything either. He sort of knows the right time to do the gambles and the right time to just play a simple pass. He's just, yeah, he looks very educated on the ball. The knowledge of the game, the way he can spin, and he knows where he's going to play it straight away. It's the stuff of dreams, really, when you're watching a football match live. You can get a crowd to stand up in an instant, and proper, really, really enjoyable to see him in the flesh, like.
Yeah. The obviously McAllister home debut as well. Following in the footsteps of Darwin Núñez, getting a red on his home debut. But let's be honest, worst decision I've ever seen. Probably, I don't think that decision will be topped this season. I genuinely don't.
It's like casual, worst decision I've ever seen.
Just it's that mind-boggling.
I mean, in the middle of the cop, so you can't really see the details of how close he is to it in the player or whatever. Obviously, seeing the highlights, I think from the reaction from everyone around the proximity of the incident, it wasn't it wasn't a red card. Everyone was shocked. Players were shocked. Coaches were shocked. Fans on the lower level were shocked. No one could believe it. And then obviously we're getting text messages through saying it's an absolute fucking farce that it's a red card. Especially when he hasn't even made a tackle to merit yellow at any point in the game. He's not like walking on thin ice. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't done anything in the game. So it's fucking literally a 50-50 and the pair of them don't get the ball. They make contact with each other. It's more like a clash of shins than it is anything else. There's fucking nothing in it at all. I'd possibly said they'd be disappointed it was a yellow card because they've both done the same thing at each other. So, yeah, ridiculous. And again, that fucking turning on VAR. What is the fucking point in them? What's the point in the referees? Like, why hasn't the referee not give a red card and then waited for VAR to say that's a red card? That because you knew it wouldn't have come.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a red card. So it's fucking stupid. They've
Well,
got
that's
it.
it. I mean,
distant lads. They've got to be. If the challenge linesman not to put up the flag, let the VAR make decisions like that. Do the same with the refs. Situations like that can ruin a game of football. We played fucking 10 men for 40 odd minutes. For what? What do they want to do? They want to stop making decisions and let VAR get come in the air. Listen, you've missed this. That is a red card. That sounds red card. Don't give the red card because VAR can't overrule it.
Yeah, no, I think for me it's with VAR there, you can kind of go if the ref is in the moment he's gone, yeah, red card and give the red. Fair enough. To him, it might have looked like a red. You can accept that. He's got to make a quick decision. But that's the whole point of VAR being there. With VAR there, that should be there to go, you know what, you've got this one wrong, go and have a look. Even if he sent him to have a look, and then he's still decided, you know what, I think this is a red. You kind of at least go, well, it's wrong, but at least you fucking had a look. You know what I mean? It's like, you haven't even properly checked it. But like you say, you've got Portini, who we've had issues with, and then the assistant VAR was the one who fucking slapped Robbo. So it's like, where do we go from there? How do you... It's not going to help fucking the situation with Portini next time he referees a Liverpool game, is it?
I don't think he'll get one again, lad, to be honest. He shouldn't do. Yeah, I just think it's crazy, lad. I think it's crazy that it just keeps happening, and it's that the league's too big and too important to have fucking dickheads running it. You know what I mean? Even in the rugby, the referee isn't sure of something. You hear him on his earpiece. He asks for help. He asks for assistance. Listen, I want to make this decision. Am I right? Yeah, you are. No, you're wrong. This is why you're wrong. This is why you're right. Do it that way. Fucking say, I think that's a red. I'll keep pushing me fucking ear in like I've got the head. I think that's a red card. What do you think? Actually, I don't think it is. Maybe go and have a look. You can overrule us if you want. But at the end of the day, that's what they're there for. They're there to help you if you're unsure or you're going to make a wrong decision. And it's fucking every single time it's happening. But with 2 games in, and there's already been 2 decisions go against us in 2 games. A fucking handball that should have given us 3 points. And then that could have cost us 3 points. But luckily enough, we didn't go down in the gears once that red card came in. We carried on plodding on. Fair play to Liverpool for doing that, because we could have sat back deep and stopped playing football and just hung on, but we didn't as well.
No, we didn't. Just to talk about the goal Bournemouth scored, obviously they fucking started like a house on fire. The one that got disallowed straight away, which we were lucky in, especially with Alisson. Could have very easily got given if they decided that the defender had made a deliberate touch of the ball, which I think we did get away with it, to be honest, if that's the criteria they were looking at. But then to concede the other one as well, it was a shambles at the beginning. What did they look threatening after that, or was it just like they had this hot start and then that was it?
No, to be fair, lads, I think the first 20 minutes we looked shaky. Alisson made a few mistakes, didn't look as comfortable self. The back line, the shape was just gone. So Trent was giving the ball away, and as soon as he'd lose the ball in the middle, they'd come right through us. And it's very difficult to watch serious play a back 3 with the ball and then watch it transition into a back 4 or a back 5 without it, because it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. We don't put that shape. It just stays a back 3 no matter whether we've got it or we haven't. Fair play to Bournemouth. They created a few chances. There was a few times where they went down the wing and put the ball across the box and they fired it over. things like that. We probably were lucky to walk away with 3 points in the sense of the chances they created compared to what we created. But over the course of the game, like Liverpool were a lot better. They were a well better team. They were a good counter-attacking team. When we lost possession, they broke very fast. But I think for the majority of the game, it was Liverpool were doing the stuff we'd expect. And I don't know if the atmosphere was electric at times because of it. We were going in for loose balls and winning it. You've got like Szobo winning the ball back in our half and pumping it to the fans, giving it to them, and it just got everyone up. So it was a bit of a feisty game. But fans were a bit aggy, not with the players or anything, just in the way we were feeling. We were proper up for it. It was the Liverpool roar was back. We were fucking shouting for every throw in every corner, everything. And yeah, I think that eventually bled onto the pitch, and something just clicked in Liverpool after 20 minutes. Well, to be fair, it was after 26 minutes, and I think that was fitting as well for Michael Jones. You know, you've got two lads walking an Everton banner round the goal. They were 1-0 down, and as soon as the banner's about to get put away on 27 minutes, Luis Diaz scores.
Yeah.
So I think it was again the eruption from the Liverpool fans during that minute applause and just singing "If You Never Walk Alone" for his family and stuff. I think that went onto the pitch as well. Everything just picked up from then on.
Yeah. You obviously we go into next week. We've got Newcastle, St James's Park. Obviously I know they got beat yesterday by City, but if we have a start like we did yesterday next Sunday, can we afford that? Will we come back from that against Newcastle?
Not a chance. No, they put 3 or 4 past you in 20 minutes if you play like that. And you know, I think we had our little knee-jerk reaction last week, didn't we? Where we were panicking about playing fucking anyone and everyone. Yeah. I did say on that podcast that I know for a fact Bournemouth to score a goal because our defence is too leaky. I think Newcastle will definitely score 1 or 2 past us, but I think we're capable of scoring 3 or 4, and that's just the thing with us at the moment until we shore that defence up and that system clicks. But no, we can't afford to be making them. It's not even like the mistakes we're making, it's the Trent loses the ball for one of them and he doesn't get back. Doesn't try to get back, and the back three are exposed. But the gaps between the back three, when you're playing a back three, you should sort of be within the vicinity of the lines of your box. So the left side of the box, Robbo, right side, Canate, central, Van Dijk. So you're in a close knit of unity sort of thing. They're not. Robbo's still left back, but he's left centre back. He's still playing by the touchline. And Canate's getting dragged out to the right, and there's just gaps everywhere. And it's hard watching it from behind the goal as opposed to on the telly. You can see it. You can plug. You can literally go. If he passes that ball into that area now, we've got fucking nobody to defend it. Only Van Dijk. Because Canate's not getting over from the right in the time he needs to, and Arnold floating around the middle like a free spirit. But then, as I say, after the 20 minutes. It started working then. I think that Szobo was coming back deep, winning the ball, and he was everywhere. And then you got McAllister doing it as well. Gakpo was everywhere. I think it just clicked that they sort of went, yeah, we need to do a little bit more here for the defence. And once they started doing it, we looked all right. But it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't need your attacking players to have to defend all game. But hopefully, Edo solves that issue for the time being until hopefully we get another one in.
Yeah. Well, I was just about to come to him. Obviously, he managed to come on. Don't think Klopp was too happy about the time he ended up coming on. I don't think he wanted them to play quite that much in the game. But when he did come on, how did he play? I've seen a few little bits of him winning the ball back. The stats for what he did do seemed okay, to be fair. But as I said, I didn't get a chance to see him really.
Yeah, he came on, he had the ovation I knew he'd get. He had a little moan at the dickheads on Twitter who were moaning that he wasn't worth 100 mil and stuff like that. And I say, we haven't really discussed them, have we?
No.
You're linked with Caicedo one moment and then the next minute he's gone. Your prime target, Lavia, is gone. And you're ending up with some fella we don't know. But I think we've all looked at us on YouTube. We've all looked at his stats. We've all listened to what the journalists say in Germany. We've all read up on what Stuttgart fans are saying. And it looks like a shrewd bit of business. Yeah, he's 30, but he's got many less miles in the tank played than the likes of Fabinho and Henderson and Milner and people need to realise. I think that's what he's replacing. I don't think he's replacing Fabinho. He's replacing Henderson or a Milner who weren't going to play all the time, hopefully. But he came on, first thing he's done, nice little tackle, no foul, won the ball, simple pass, and he's done that over and over again. Looked a little bit slow, but again, he's come on in a game where we've got 10 men, and this is the hardest role to play when you're defending against 11 men. So what I loved about him is how he keeps it simple. He looked for Szobo, and then he was looking for Javier, he was looking for Salah, things like, looking for players that were going to do something so he could stay in position, wasn't getting in and marching forwards. When there was space to move, he moved. And the best part of his game was bringing players down when we needed to. 3 or 4 times they broke through the middle where we usually stand off. He just kicked them, come down, dragged them, pulled them, free kick on the halfway line. That's what stopped the play, broke the play up. And that's what we've absolutely been desperate for 2 years. Someone to just foul. Man City are kings of it. If you've got a chance of getting in between them, you get brought down. You get brought down and nothing said of it, because they are little tactical fouls they're not dirty. They just stop your progression, and we've needed it. So I was delighted to see that happen.
Yeah. Now, like you said about him, he seems a shrewd bit of business. Everyone who's watched German football seems to say that it's a fucking really under the radar, underrated signing. And then obviously the ones who've never seen him or heard of him in their life, he's shit. So I said that on Twitter the other day. It's funny how that works, but look, he might not be worth 100 mil, but at least he's not coming on giving the ball away in his first touch, giving a penalty away on his debut like a certain Mr. Casado. Like just to go off track for a minute. Like when he gave that penalty away, I fully belly laughed, lad. I was howling.
He really struggled. He came on, lost the ball with his first touch. He tried a wonder shot, fucking right over the bar. Was misplacing passes, was getting ghosted past. He struggled. Don't get me wrong, he's a great player, Casado, but I am going to be fickle here, because I'm going to back you up, because I wanted him more than anything. I wanted him based on what I'd seen last season and nothing else. Didn't know what type of person he was, what attitude, and I know we do the dickhead test, and obviously we wanted him, but even his face, he's just got a punchable face. You just don't like. So when he come on for Chelsea there, at no point did I think, I wish he were coming on for us there. I just didn't like his face.
Yeah,
that's all I can say. I don't like him.
No, I don't want to be many things this season, non-Liverpool related, that give me just so much fucking happiness in just one little moment. It was amazing. It was brilliant, and for me, it half justified not getting him. So fuck it. But now back to us. Obviously, I think you said it before. The intensity we still kept with 10 men was, for me, a welcome thing, because I think that's one thing we've lacked recently is intensity. Which is mad when you think about it, because we're unbeaten in 12 Premier League games. So if we can bring that intensity back in, and still, even if we don't play that well, because I don't think yesterday we really did play that well from what I made him, but we got the win. It's kind of like what we were doing a few years ago, is not really playing well, but being clinical. If we can start doing that again, lad, even if we do concede a goal every game or every other game or something like that, I think we'll do well. But it's going to be a difficult season. I think everybody around us is improving. Obviously City are City. Let's just leave them at that. Arsenal have obviously improved quite well in the summer. Newcastle have bought well. I think that Tonali looks a great signing for them. United are shit, so that's fun. And then like Chelsea are just, I don't. Let's just leave them there. But yeah, it's going to be tough. I think I said it on this other podcast I was on the other day. I think the fight for the sort of third and fourth places is going to be between us. I actually said Chelsea and Newcastle. But it's going to be a fun season. It'd be fun to see how we do cope with the Thursday night games and stuff like that, and playing Thursday, Sunday every other week. It's going to be a test, but I don't think we're done in the market, so I don't think that's probably something they're looking at. And you know, you got to look at Endo. I think he's going to be a starter in the Europa League, not a starter in the league necessarily. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's interesting with what we're going to do in the market now. I think Enzo comes in and he's obviously saved us a lot of money in what we were going for. For instance, if we get him instead of Lavia, I know Lavia's only 19, he could prosper to be a brilliant player in the future. But right now, what we need is a little bit of calm, a little bit of experience. And if we can go and get someone who's about 23, 24 from Palace to Corey and get him in the middle as well, that'd be absolutely sound. And I'd be all over it. But that's what we need. We need a team we can rotate. Like, you need a player who's gonna. You don't have to play a complete whole midfield in every game, because sometimes you don't believe that your opponent merits it. You know what I mean? There's sometimes you just go fuck it, go all out attack and kill these. Let's put 4 past them and then maybe bring one on. Leave it that, shore it up. But say we had our little meltdown last week where I thought Newcastle could challenge, City could challenge Arsenal. I thought we were going to fucking get relegated. It's just the way it is after we played against Chelsea. But seeing how we held ourselves with 10 men, and the way we were like confident on the ball, little moments of brilliance from individuals and some lovely team football as well. You can see what we're about again. You can see we're going to press. You can see we're going to fight. We're going to work hard. We just need to win all our own games, and if we can keep the atmosphere the way it was the other day, I think we've got a good chance, because it was just it felt big. It felt like a big moment. The atmosphere was spot on. So yeah, I think we'll rotate the squad for different cups and different league games, and that's what it's about, having a squad. Man City can do it, Arsenal can do it. We need to be able to do it too.
Yeah, definitely. Couple of little talking points from the game then. So obviously Salah had the penalty, missed, scored the rebound. Is it time to take Salah off pens?
No. You could end him doing that. You could. He's missed it. And then he's put it in. So as far as I'm concerned, he's scored. If it keeps happening, what's he missed? He's missed 5, hasn't he?
Well, he missed 2 in sort of successive games. I don't know if they were actually successive games, but he missed 2 on the trot last season, didn't he? And then I think he scored his last one before yesterday. I think he has
only missed 5. So, I think if you take that off him, I think that's a kick in the balls for him, really. But obviously, football's business. So if we think there's someone there better than him, Szobo possibly. I don't think he ever missed one. And he goes the same fucking way every time as well. But even that, rotate that. You don't need a designated penalty taker, really.
To be honest, I just don't think he looks. I don't think he looks comfortable taking pens. Like, you look at the way Milner took a pen, and I might be looking too much into this, like, but you never got a sense ever that Milner was going to miss, and obviously I don't think he ever did for us. But he was just calm, he was cool. And even the way he took it, lad, he'd just pass it in, you know what I mean? Whereas Salah tries to fucking put his foot through every pen. And I think the keeper's telegraphing a bit too much, and obviously some of them he's missed. I just don't think he looks that comfortable taking them. I think it's like he's been given them and he'll take. I actually, part of me thinks I don't think he'd mind getting took off them. I think, like you say, you got Szobo there. There's been people on Twitter there of saying get McAllister on them. We've got a few technicians in there now. We probably would take a better penalty than Salah, but I do agree at the same time it could be detrimental if you start going, all right, you've missed 2 now, so fuck off, go away from pens. I think that could ruin him. I can see it from both sides, if you like.
Yeah, I think if you send the coach over to him and say, listen, like, practice some pens, whatever, you've missed 5 out your last whatever. Do you think it's time to give someone else a go? And if he says yeah, sound. If he says no, then you go, right, fair enough. Score your next one and you remain the penalty taker. Simple as that. Things like that you do it with. I think it is all based on stats though. Because remember a conversation about Trent being the free kick taker by the goal, and if he'd have missed this next free kick, he wasn't on them anymore and he scored. I think it was Hoffenheim. years ago, like, but yeah, you just gotta. You don't want to upset the apple cart too much on a penalty, really. We don't get many anyway, so yeah, just let one of the best players in the world carry on taking them for all I care. Like, but so it could be a thing where whoever makes it takes it, sort of thing. I wouldn't mind doing the Al Sunday League shit with that. Szobo like gets fouled in the box, where there's your ball, take it.
Yeah, I agree.
I've got enough players.
Liked that idea.
Whoever's going to be in the box and around the box is probably capable of taking a penalty for Liverpool, you'd imagine.
Yeah. Speaking of the penalty, obviously from where, I don't know where you were in the Kop yesterday, were you?
Yeah.
So it would have been hard for you to tell from there, but I'm assuming you've seen it since. Do you think it was a penalty? Do you think we got a bit lucky with it?
I haven't watched any highlights after it, lads. I screamed for it straight away. He just literally showed him down the river, moved the ball out of his way, and he swung his leg at him. He's gone over it. Penalty.
I mean, it's one of them. I think the contact was very minimal. And I think it probably falls under that category is if the ref hadn't give it, I don't think it would have got overturned. I do think it was a penalty. I do think it was a bit softer. But like you say, he's stuck his leg out. He's been a bit rash with it. Szobo slides, and he has connected with him. As I say, it's minimal, but it was there. But when you consider all the ones we haven't got over the year, is when Salah's getting fucking put in headlocks and shit like that, and we're not getting anything. I think we deserve a soft one every now and again.
Yeah, we've had some soft ones against us, lad. Remember Robbo on Welbeck when he literally his toe and he went out. That cost us points last minute of the game. We're owed a bit of luck somewhere, but say from where I was, it looked like he's tried to go with the ball and his path's been prevented by that leg, so he's gone down. Fair play, penalty, but I haven't seen it since. I went out after it, so.
Yeah, and I'll ask you about that in a minute because obviously it was big for you personally as well. So I will ask you to talk a little bit about that at the end as well. But the other obvious thing that's going on around on Twitter at the minute is Jurgen Klopp shouting at the fans. Now, to be honest, I've heard the video. I don't even think it sounded like Klopp. But then who else is going to say stop singing that shit? But anyway, obviously Klopp has supposedly had a go at the fans for singing I'm so glad at I think it was about 80 minutes, wasn't it? He's been very vocal about it in the past. He said he doesn't want the focus to be on him. He wants it to be on the players. Sing it after the games if you want. I'm not bothered then. I think were you part of an audience with Jurgen Klopp at some point? Were you? No, but he mentioned it there as well, didn't he?
On everyone. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I spent the evening in the presence of Jurgen, and he said it there. We sang it to him there, and he looked as uncomfortable as a man could fucking look in a room of other men. It was weird. Like when you do think of it, there's a man sat on a stage and we're all just singing at him.
As other men know, like it's not even kids. It's like you're sat there watching other men sing your name at you. It's like that is a bit weird when you just say it like that.
Nowhere to put his head, lad. But we fucking adore him, and it's times like that where when you're out with him and he's speaking. You can see he enjoys it a bit, but he looks uncomfortable. He looks a little bit too humble sort of thing. But this isn't about that. This is about, he said time and time again that he doesn't want his name to be sung until the game is over. And the reason being is that he believes, and whether it's right or wrong, that it only gets sung when the fans think the game's won, and he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Because the game's not won until the final whistle goes. And it stems from a game a couple of years ago when we were winning by two goals, maybe 3, and the team we were playing came back and put like 2 past us, and we were fucking panicking.
He even said it after Tottenham last season. Yeah, when obviously we 3-0 up. And then obviously they come back to 3-3, and then obviously we get the winner, and it was Boss because it was Richarlison's goal that never won it, never got him a point. But he said it after. I think he said it about that game as well. It's like we started singing it at 3-0, thinking the game's over, and then, or in his mind anyway, that we think the game's over, and then they come back. It's like I understand it. I think people are over making it out to be a bigger issue than it is. He's not trying to say don't sing it. He's just trying to say sing it before the game or after the game. Don't sing it during the game.
No, well, I've had a few back and forth with people today, and obviously people are entitled to their opinions. You've got lads fucking proper heavy match going Reds who go every game home and away saying, tell them to shut the fuck up. We're paying our money. We can sing what the fuck we want, which I get. But when you've got the man who the song's about saying, don't sing it, please, then you've got to just respect it, I think. He doesn't want it sung between the fucking first and 90th minute. He actually said when we were at the Shankly, you know, if we're 5-0 up and they've got 10 men, something, and there's only 1 minute to go, then yeah, by all means, but not when there's still time on the clock. So, you know, you've got to just respect it. He doesn't want it, and it does. People are saying it's a Liverpool song. It should boost the players. It doesn't. It's not about any of the players. It's not about the football club. It's about Jurgen Klopp, and it's also mentioning winning a Premier League. Now I know we have won the Premier League, but you know we've got to be realistic as well. Got to sing the songs that match the mood in the stadium and the way the club directing at the minute. At the same as singing like fucking LA against Bournemouth in the league. Fuck off. Not a European game against AC Milan or whoever. Don't bring on your international against Bournemouth. Just fucking stop it. Sing songs in domestic games. Sing every song for the players. Jota's got 2 songs. Nunes has got a shit chant. Gakpo hasn't got a song. Szobo hasn't got a song. McAllister hasn't got a song. Jota's got 2. Oh, there's not enough going on for the players. We should, in fucking hell, you were brought up on tales of like lads warming up and every single player from the goalie to the left back to the centre mid to the fucking forward having a song in the warm up before they even come back out to play the match, and they'd all clap the fans. Now we've got fucking some players with 2 songs, some with none, and it's stupid. Get every player a song, and if a fucking manager says, do us a favour, don't sing my song until the game's won, then just do it.
Yeah. No, again, it's one of them.
Imagine him walking to the centre circle after swatting Man United to someone, knowing what he's about to do, singing his song as fucking loud as we possibly can, him pumping his chest, and then off he goes with his fist pumps. That's what he wants. That's what we should do. That's fine. I'll do that all game, every game.
Yeah. Yeah, and people are saying, he moans when the atmosphere is shit and he moans when we're singing the song, but it's like, that's different because we have had games where the atmosphere has been dead, and it's not even just it's not even just us. I've watched pretty much every game since the Premier League's come back, and Newcastle was shit last week, their atmosphere. West Ham was shit today, their atmosphere. Atmospheric games seems to be dying until something meaningful happens. And I remember I'm going back 15, 20 years here, like, but going a game then, lad, it didn't matter what the score was, the atmosphere was unbelievable. Like, I remember going to Chelsea and watching Xabi Alonso get his ankle broke by Thiago and then going on to score. And you didn't shut up all game, you stood all game. You didn't shut up, but we lost. It's like that's what the atmosphere used to be, and it's becoming a thing around just football in general now. That I don't know if it's something to do with the cost of tickets, like that. The cost of tickets are so high that it's going to the wrong sort of target, if you like. It's going to the ones who thinking, I paid me money, I'm going to sit and watch the match. It's like, and that's fair enough. There's always going to be people like that at the game, no matter what happens. But it seems like the ones who can afford it and want to go and sing and stand for the full game. There was even people moaning about the safe standing on Twitter, I've seen. Which,
if you want to go and watch the match from sitting down, go to the pub, or go in the main stand, or the Sir Kenny. Don't go in the standing part. It's as simple as that. By all means, if you've got some sort of fucking ailment where you can't stand for 90 minutes, my dad probably couldn't stand for 90 minutes, but he will sit down and he'll fucking listen to what's going on around him before he told you to sit down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He'd fucking get the vibe off the atmosphere. Just fucking stand up when something meaningful is happening. He would never fucking dare to say to someone in front of him, sit down, mate. Because he'd flip if someone done it to him. So you've just got to put the game into perspective. There's a lot of people who have spent the hard-earned money, some of it fucking a day's wages, to go to the football, to get all the fucking energy out and enjoy it. And that you do that by standing up, singing, shouting, and being in the moment. These people who want to go and watch it, either go to the pub or go to sides, because the fucking behind the goal's not for you anymore, unfortunately.
I think part of the issue with it is, and I've seen someone say this on Twitter, is that they've obviously decided which stands are now the safe standing ones or the temporary seating one, like you said, optional seating rather. Sorry, but you know, there's people saying, well, change where you're sitting, and it's like, but the club, people are saying the club won't let them until next year. So I was like, if they're saying for people to move and go to stands where it's seating only, then yeah, they should, but the club should give them that option if they were deciding to make the stands optional seating. I'd think to just go, right, this is safe standing now and you can't move until next year if you want to stay seated all game.
There's a dead simple solution to that. Dead simple. The lower part of the Kop is disabled and there's a few rows of seats behind them. The lower part of the lower Annie, up to row 6 or 7, is seated only for the people who chose to sit only. So what you do is you speak to everyone who's got season tickets and who goes to every game in that stand. You send out an email and you say, right, would you like to sit or stand? And if you get 200 people say sit, you'd extend the sitting area from 6 to 10, and that's it. Dead easy. It's not hard.
No.
So simple. Or you literally, what I'd do, because me and my dad aren't tall, and when we were in the back of that lower Annie against Leeds last season or the season before, we couldn't see. They fucking filled it with giants. Me and my dad at the back of the lower Annie, you can't see anything anyway. We couldn't see anything. There's literally big fellas in front of us. So we went down to the front of the Annie and just said, can we get in there? So that's all you do. Excuse me, if you want to, can I sit down where you're stood and you go and stand where I was sat? That's all you do, lad. There's no big fucking thing about it. You go and stand with your mates where you can. And when someone wants to sit down, you let them sit where you are and you move behind them.
Yeah. No, I imagine it is probably something very simple to a solution to it, and it might just be that. But I don't know, from the dealings I've seen with the club and stuff like that, it seems they try and make every situation more difficult than it has to be. And this
just think
like
people are doing merchants as well. Like, why are you taking a photo of a lad stood up anyway?
Yeah.
Stood up at the match, middle of the game's on, the players are behind him. Like taking a photo of him to moan to people on Twitter. Just tap him on the shoulder and go, excuse me, mate, any chance I can sit there so I can see the match?
Right. Yeah, that would but then at the same time, it's like if he's in the Annie Road in a predominantly seated section, like he says he is, you know, if he says, can I sit there though? And you stand, that I'm just going off what he's said, is the only one he's the main one I've seen, to be fair. So I don't know myself.
Yeah, so the lower Annie is up to from the ground to row 6 is seated, and then it's all safe standing, and that's why it's not called seating with stands or seating and stand. It's called safe standing. It's there to stand safely. With an optional seat. So if you choose to sit down and someone chooses to stand up, they're in the right. You want to sit down, by all means, sit down, but it's at the risk of missing the match. What it is, unlucky.
Yeah.
Fucking the way it is, it's brilliant that they've done it and made up. They've done it. The atmosphere, it's the best atmosphere in an opening game I've seen for fucking years. Superb. There was a proper buzz about the place, and that Liverpool raw was back, as I said before. When we're winning balls and balls going out for a corner or we're throwing a tackle in, it's that raw where you've got to take a breath to get out your fucking seat now. I'm in my 30s. I can't just score anymore. I've got to take a big deep breath and prepare. So when you're already stood up and you're already up and you're already hanging over the railings and bouncing and throwing your fist, all that intensity and your emotion just fucking flies out instantly. You haven't got to think about that. And as daft as that sounds, lad, like I'm a little arm man, that little getting up motion does take a bit out of people. And that, you know what I mean? I think there was a lot of difference in everyone just standing up, and it was brilliant, lad. I loved it.
Well, as I say, lad, you go back to like the early 2000s and early to late 2000s, let's say, and even before it was safe standing, you go to the game and you'd sit down during the warm-up. As soon as the game started, you'd stand. When it got to half time, you'd sit down. Second half kicks off, you stand up again, and that was it. And then you get off. That's what it used to be. But the thing is, the stewards just weren't asking because everyone done it. They can't tell fucking 45,000 people to sit down, can they? You know what I mean? So, but it somewhere along the line, something got lost in that, and it became a more go and sit and not necessarily silence, but go and sit more quietly and observe the match rather than fucking get involved. You know what I mean?
That's the problem with Anfield, and it has been for a few years. You know, that's why you get that this divide between like what we say local fans and out of towners. But it's not necessarily that. The problem lies with people who don't want to contribute to the atmosphere. So I'd rather stand next to a lad from Sweden who's going to sing his fucking lungs out than a Scouser who's sat down all game on his phone.
Yeah,
Do you know
100%. I mean? Anyone would.
You can't just age people out. You can't say, oh, you're 65, 70 now, you don't want to stand up, fuck off. What you do say is, listen, there's probably 50% sitting down in the main stand or the Kenny that are absolutely gutted, that want to be where you are. So why don't you just make that decision to fucking like be the bigger man and admit that your young days are gone and you're gonna have to. It is because it's a horrible thing.
It's you know, it could be even easier for
you go from standing behind the cop to going, I can't do it anymore. I need to go and sit down. And you've got to make that decision. But people are clinging on to these tickets behind the goal and not wanting to fucking stand up. Now's the time to do it. Hopefully next season, people who are struggling this season are gonna make that decision and speak to the club and say, we're in a standing only section, can we move? And fingers crossed they do.
Yeah. I mean, it might even be an easier solution than what people are thinking, lad, because, you know, like, say, for instance, you and your dad didn't go to the game together. You went separately, which would be a bit weird. But let's just say for this situation, you don't. You know, say you're in a seating section and he's in a standing section, he can't do it for the full game. He might just get in touch with you and go, look, lad, I can't do this anymore. Do you want to swap with me for the rest of the season? And you go, yeah, sound, because you'd want to stand. How many people know people that go to the game and they might be older than them or younger than them who would rather be where they are? They could just go, look, this is a bit much for me. Can we swap for the rest of the season? Would you prefer to be standing? You know, half of it could be resolved just by doing that. I think there just needs to be a bit of fucking logic about it all, lad, from both fans and the club.
Yeah, it's a simple survey. Send a survey out. What's your age? Where is your stand? What's your preference, sitting or standing? And then just say it by that. And then, but don't do it anonymously. So once you've put seating, you get put on a register. If your season ticket comes through, you go on a reserve for the seating part instead of the cop or the lower Annie. And as I say, it is just a thing where you're going to have to bite your bullet and go, well, I'm too old for this shit now, or I don't enjoy standing up for 90 minutes, or I can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I offer my dad my dad wants to go on the cop, but if I offer my dad one in the main stand, low level, where he can see everything and sit there comfortably, he'd probably take it because he's got an issue with his back and it kills him for days standing up. But he does it because he loves it. He stands up because he wants to. That's his chance to go back to being in his youth. All he talks about when we go to matches when he was a kid and stuck behind the cop and Shankly and Paisley, and takes him back to them days, lads. And that's the beauty of Anfield. It can do that to you, and that's why I understand a lot of the older fellas don't want to part ways with it. But when you are moaning at people to sit down because you can't do what you used to do, it's time to move to the sides.
Yeah.
So off his pop.
Just talking about obviously stands and seats. Obviously, the fucking new stand was meant to be opened in time for yesterday. Been a fucking just one nightmare after another with that in recent weeks. Firstly, feel sorry for all the fucking people working on it who fucking lost their jobs. It's a fucking.
You are angry, aren't you?
Yeah, very.
God,
no,
talking about 10 times there.
Nah, it's I don't understand how the situation can get like that, lad. It's terrible. But yeah, I feel sorry for everyone who's lost a job, as I say. But I seen it like a fan video of Salah's penalty. Obviously, it was at the then it looked like a friendly because obviously you had the Bournemouth fans there not celebrating, and then the fucking top stand was empty completely, and it just looked a bit mad. But it didn't, from what I've seen and heard, and that it didn't really take away from the atmosphere, thankfully.
No, the atmosphere was brilliant, as I've said a number of times, lad. It was good. Yeah, it was a bit weird seeing that as like a building site, really, and just seeing the empty seats. But when you think of it, apparently, obviously, what's going on in the concourse and that is the key issue, because you could probably employ fucking chimps to go and put them seats in. It's only a fucking drill and a wrench in it, so you could probably get them in. But I think it's what's going on. Obviously, I got a text message to go and do the sparking for 5 weeks. That was before booking them when went down.
Mm.
So obviously that's 5 weeks of sparking needed. There's meant to be loads of plumbing jobs. There's meant to be stuff not fitted. So it's going to need firms to come in to fit fucking kitchen stuff and fridges and all shit like that. So yeah, the miles behind, lad. But so I'm not really asked. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect anyone really. Obviously, it affects the ticketing system and all that, but that's a shambles anyway. That's obviously fucking horrible for the lads and girls who've been working on there and have lost their jobs. But I just feel like even seeing that lad who was on video recording Anfield and he got sacked from Buckingham, it just sounds like a shit firm to have worked for. I think there would have been vibes going through the staff that something was about to drop. I think they'd have known a little bit that they were struggling. But again, it's sickening to know that there's probably hundreds of people without a job now, without pay that they've done work for, and you've got bonuses getting given out to bosses. It's just scum.
Always the way, innit?
Don't expect any more from a firm called Buckingham, do you?
No, do you fuck? Yeah, I mean, so we need to just get it sorted as soon as possible because it just, I mean, it just doesn't look good at the end of it. Like it's bad. I think. I think didn't we even have a bit of trouble with fucking? I can't remember the firm who it was now, but the ones who done the main stand as well. Wasn't there a few issues with them as well?
Yeah, not that I know personally, but someone has highlighted something that struggled for a little bit, but it got done, didn't it? And it looked brilliant. I said, I don't know. I don't really know how that side works. Obviously, when I do big jobs, I take a deposit off the customer towards my materials, so I don't get left in the lurch with that. But it is only a deposit. So, say for instance, I'm on a job now worth about 13 grand all in. My materials are going to cost about fucking 4. So every time I hit a stage, I say, give 10%, and that'll cover a part of the materials, and a part wages for the lad. But I think if they're doing that, where they're ordering concretes and steels, and that as a company saying, right, there's fucking 200 grand's worth of gear, pay us 10%, and then they haven't got the cash flow to deal with it, you are just going to go in an instant, just like that. But obviously, if you haven't got it, don't agree to fucking do it, sort of thing. You know what I mean? So if you can't run the job with the short resources you've got, then you can't do it. So it's on them, really.
Yeah. Right, last couple of questions for you before we wrap up. Then we've got just under, I think now 2 weeks left of the window. If you could pick one name,
Decore.
There you go. You've answered the question. I was going to say, if you could pick one name, whether we've been linked with him or not, that we can bring in, whether it's a defensive mid, whether it's a left-sided centre half, who would you go for? But is Decore your man?
No, do you know what? I like Decore. So I put him in the same, not as the same bracket as Caicedo at the length I've watched him, but I like him. I like his physical aspects. I like how he looks on the ball without the ball. He looks a strong player, and he's a presence. He's probably a lot more of a presence than Caicedo, to be fair. Caicedo hasn't got much about him, but he's good in that role. Meant to be. Crap. But yeah, Decore's got everything we need in that role. I'd say we've discussed in the past. The likes of Douglas Luiz and that, similar. Then you've got the Paulina, who's a bit more technical, but he's brilliant at winning the ball. I'll go Premier League. I'll pay what it takes to get someone who knows the league and how physical the league can be. That'd be, if we could be going for like a Kone or Thuram and that, but they're not CDMs. They're just midfielders who can do a little bit of everything. We don't need that. We're desperate for a proper CDM who's going to stay there. So, yeah, go for someone Premier League. Not really asked who it is again, but if you have to pay 20, 30 million pound more to get someone who's experienced and not going to have to learn on the job, just do it. But I think Decore, I think his age, I think he's 24. He's been in the league a while. I think he'd be sound.
Yeah. I think be interesting to see if he's in the squad tomorrow. I think if he's not and he's not injured, I think something might be in the pipeline there with him. But we'll wait and see. I do like him myself.
Yeah, I don't think I think that's a bit of a mad one with the not playing him, because it's literally, it's a grain in it. I think if it was me, if I was manager of a team, I wouldn't give a fuck if he got injured and we couldn't sell him. So I'd play him anyway, because obviously they want him, they still want him, but it's a case of if he gets injured for a couple of weeks and it hinders him, and what we've kept at one of our best players. So I think only when you're really forcing a deal or a player out do you see them not playing. So I think you'd definitely play. And if whatever happens, happens. I think, again, it might be a chance for him to put himself in the shop window and just go, oh, the way he done that there. Yeah, go and get him.
Yeah.
But,
no, I mean, I think there's arguments for and against it. But even if he does get injured, then even if he does play and get injured, lad, it might not even hinder the deal. Look at Everton, they've just got that Jack Harrison on loan. He's injured for 4 or 5 weeks. So how the fuck he's passed the medical? I haven't got a clue. But so it seems that it doesn't. Even years ago, lad, Andy Carroll joined us injured. Means fuck all these days, does it really? So
as long as you haven't got a fucking lengthy, well, to be fair, Carroll did. Weird kind of. But if you haven't got like loads of injuries in your past, and like sort of like a Thiago where you know he's going to pick up strain after strain after strain after strain, then you can sort of get through the medical, knowing what you want to know, and you know you've got no breaks here, no ligament damage here, nothing, no tissue issue. You've got a little fucking nothing. So yeah, I think he'll play. I think anyone we're after will play. If you can get him in, and then we can get that Fluminense player, Andre, is it? Just not because of seeing him, not because I like him, just because we're linked. For instance, just go and get someone in now and go and get him in January. I think you're onto a winner. So having 3 in that role is maybe a little bit over the top, but in the amount of games we're going to be playing, and there'll be some games where we might need to play 2 holding and calm down a little bit offensively, then I think you're always better having more than not. So yeah, anyone from the Premier League, I'd go for.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Last one to wrap up then. As you mentioned before, Newcastle next week. It's going to be a tough game. I'm not going to ask you for a score prediction because we've been shouted at for that in the past. But what do you want to see from the game? As I say, it's going to be a hard game. You look what they've done to Villa, who were a very good team themselves. Last week, put 5 past them quite easily. Gave City problems yesterday. So it's going to be a tough game. But what would you just like to see from us? Obviously, you'll win, but
yeah. Well, first thing I want to say is McAllister on the pitch, because there's fucking things being overruled. That'd be nice. I want to see Endo starting defensive mid, get him in there. I'd like to see fucking Trent staying right back and staying in position and fucking that flat three off completely for that game, because I don't think it works at all. I don't think the benefits don't outdo the negatives from what could go wrong there. And I want to just see us play with confidence and get Szoboszlai on the ball, get McAllister on the ball, get the lads. I want to see Gakpo leading the line and dragging defenders out like Firmino used to do. That's what he's so good at doing. Seeing Diaz or Salah getting in behind like they should be doing. So at the minute, everything's a little bit stretched and we're a little bit off in all aspects of how we want to play the game. Because he's trying to rebuild what he once had, but players aren't playing in the right positions at the minute because of the little bit of a crisis we're in. So yeah, I'd like to see players playing in the right positions now we've got them, and just go for them. So I think that obviously they're not the best defensive side. It could be a fucking high scoring game, but we know we can outscore anyone. So I just think if we just be a little bit cautious of them and respect them like we should, instead of just going gung-ho at them, play the ball round, frustrate them, I think we've got obviously a great chance of beating them.
Yeah, no, I think I'd like to see Endo start. I think given that he would have had a week training with the lads and that, getting used to the system and just being around them, I think he'd be ready. But against a team like Newcastle, you do need someone who's just going to sit, because they're good on the break. They've got a lot of speed in there, good technical players, so they are going to punish us if. And I do think you're right with Trent. Just stick to the back four. I think it's just not working. I'd like to see us drop back a little bit with the defence, because again, they've got the players. You got Bruno Guimaraes. If you let him get on the ball with Isak running behind, we're fucked. or even Almiron, lad. Almiron's quick. Callum Wilson, they've got a lot of speed up front. So I think if he gets on the ball, lad, and one of them's gone, we're fucked. So I'd like to see us drop back a little bit. But yeah, I'd like to see. I think Nunes would be good in that game. I think Nunes, not necessarily to start, but I don't think he's been getting a lot of time the last couple of games, and I think he can't impact the game in 15 minutes. He needs longer. I think we've said it in the past. He's a lot better starting than he is coming off the bench. So we need to try and we've got to try and integrate on that, because we've said it ourselves. He's chaos. He's mad. He's brilliant, but he causes a lot of problems just from his madness alone.
Yeah, I think he's taking him off the limelight a little bit. Obviously, his fee's being forgotten now, and that's again good management. Take him out a little bit. Let the storm calm down. Let's get all the comparisons out the way last season. That's all gone now, and let him just be who he is. But yeah, he's not going to change the game in 10-15 minutes. It takes that long to warm up. I think preferably, I think we've discussed positions in the past. I think your options for right forward are Salah, Elliott and Doak. Elliott's proven to be very, very strong at the minute. In Jürgen's head, he's going to be giving him a little bit of a nightmare, because he's come on in 2 games and looked really good.
Yeah.
Well, fair play to him. I think forward, you've got to be looking at Gakpo leading the line and Jota coming on off the bench, and on the left, Diaz or Nunes starting. I don't think Nunes is a central striker. I think he needs to be causing havoc and cutting in. And even against Chelsea, got it on the left, cut in onto his right foot, and he nearly scored and got the winner. That's where he needs to be. Jota just for 80 minutes a game just does nothing. In some games, but he'll score you a goal, which obviously the best strikers do, and that's fine. But I think the way, if we want to play like Liverpool of old, where you've got Mane and now Diaz, and you've got Salah on the right, getting in behind, Gakpo's the perfect man to lead the line, because he can shoot and score himself, but he's quite happy to drop in, take 2 men out the game, and let them lads get in. So I think that's what we need to be doing. But yeah, Nunes, I think you need to be starting him on the left.
Yeah, that's the problem we've got at the minute, though, like you say, isn't it? You look at someone like Diaz, scored in both games so far this season. Like at the minute, I know it's only 2 games in, but you can't be really dropping someone who's in a little bit of a run like that in terms of scoring goals. So I understand how hard it is for Jürgen. It must be fucking. I'm sure it keeps him up at night a couple of days before a game, like. But at the same time, it's nice to have these options, isn't it? So.
Yeah, it is. I'd say it's versatile as well. I think if you put Salah on the left and Diaz on the right, it still works. I think they can go wherever, they can all float about where they want. You've got Gakpo can play left, right, and centre. He's remarkable. He's versatile. Nunes can play left, centre. Jota can play left and centre. So I say it's just. I think Jota's a form player. There's not many of them. There's not many like him that actually go through form. You just get what you get off most players. If they're not playing well, they're still there or thereabouts. He's either not involved, but might nick a goal, or he's completely everywhere and on the ball all game. So, yeah, I think against Newcastle, I'd like to see Gakpo start up front, and I'd like to see Diaz start on the left, Salah on the right, and then you've got your options of like Nunes and Jota to come on and change the game.
Yeah. It's not. I'm looking for a good performance more than anything.
I just want to see us go at. I want to see us go at them, but with caution, and just like we give them the respect that they've merited from the performances last season and the performances this season. So they blew Villa away. Villa have just blew Everton away with absolute ease, which isn't hard. I reckon our fucking veteran team would do that, but Villa, they've just blew Villa away. With as you say, they cause City issues. If we play like we did in the first 20 minutes against Bournemouth, we could end up being Villa against Newcastle. They have got potential to put 3 or 4 past us if we don't defend as a unit. But saying that, it's not the defence. It's no longer individual errors that we've moaned about. the lads are winning the ball back when they can. The gaps are just too big. I think Van Dijk and Arte look solid against Bournemouth. At times, Van Dijk looked back to his best against Chelsea at times. Looked solid again the other day. So he's starting to grow and look back to his old self. But he needs support. And the only way that's going to come is Trent going back into position, having a centre defensive mid and Endo, and them gaps closing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's going to be a tough one, but I think we've shown enough just about in the first two games. Obviously, the first 20 minutes, or mad that it just falls in this 20 minutes, and it would fucking great for 20 minutes against Chelsea and then shit the rest, and then Bournemouth was the other way around. But so we've shown a full game at least in the two games where the promise there. So as long as we can carry that on, I'm not overly concerned. We always, a lot of the time, we do seem to play well against Newcastle, touch wood. But last thing I wanted to just obviously bring up for you, obviously after the game, you had a good little night in Hemingway's, which obviously was helping you out with Scouse Republic a bit.
Yeah, just had a little stall there. Invited a few people to come down and watch Barry Sutton from the Lars do his thing. So the place is brilliant. Boss vibe, the owners sound, all the staff, like family run boozer. All the staff are sound. Nice vibe. I wasn't bevying. I was drinking the zeros again. So that's why I'm fresh today. Otherwise I wouldn't have done. But yeah, just a nice place, lad. And you've got obviously customers turning up. A fella from Australia, Steve Tricky, who Liverpool fan. I've sent stuff over to Australia to him, and he turned up. He's in Liverpool for a week, and he turns up at Hemingway and popped up and was like, "Hello, lad." I was like, "Oh my god." So things like that, yeah. The buzz for me isn't the selling stuff; it's the seeing people in me stuff, sort of thing. But yeah, it's nice just being there because everything's online for me. I haven't got a shop yet because I'm only a tiny business. But seeing people rooting through the rails and picking me stuff up and asking for sizes and stuff like that was nice.
Yeah,
I felt like a shop.
Well, no, I mean that's something you've said from the very start when you started. Like, you know, even today you put something up on Twitter like the little lads going to the fucking boss night wearing your Szobo Slide t-shirt and that.
Yeah,
and it's just like little things like that, lad. It does it just. I know for you especially, like how much that means to you, and just that stuff like that alone makes it worthwhile for you.
Yeah, that's it. As I say, it's not a lot of people do things for money, and obviously I make a few quid off it, but not a major. Make a few quid a top. I don't make hardly anything on the kids' tops. It'd be easier for me, realistically, not to sell any kids' tops because I don't make a profit on them. I just charge them. By the time I do postage and all that, I don't make hardly. I might make £1 or £2 on a top. So for what it's worth, but seeing the pictures of the kids and the next generation going to matches, going to boss nights to see Webster and all that makes it all worthwhile. It's class. It's that's why I march on Twitter as well about a boy's pen and a kid's pen. Just throw all the little ones in a fucking area together like they used to in the car and let them all sing their heads off, because when you see them boss nights and that, you can't beat them.
Yeah,
they are the future, lad, and they are. If you bring them up singing and dancing and standing up at games and growing up to do what their dad's done and the granddad's done and the great granddads, it's a generational thing. Hopefully we can carry that on now, because we can fucking stand and sing and that again, unless you've got swap behind you on a mobile taking a photo. But yeah, lad, say the business is doing well. It's done dead well over pre-season, which I didn't expect, because it's obviously there's no football being played. Again, the best thing, like sometimes it's a form thing. If Liverpool are doing dead well, you get to finals. Obviously, they pick the favourite designs, and you can pick from me or another small business. Obviously, there's loads of us about, so we can go to anyone really. But yeah, it's been a bit of a shock how busy it's been through pre-season, and then like all the negativity from the Twitter helmets and all that. You don't see it in the business. What you see the other side with this is that, fuck it, Liverpool aren't doing too well. Let's go and get a new top. It might be someone's lucky t-shirt or something like that. I get that a lot. I've wore this for this match, so I'm going to wear it the next. And yeah, it's fucking great, lads. It's great. And obviously I'm an electrician as well, so this business is a little side thing. But I work for myself as a sparking. I've got my own sparking firm. That is just, again, flat out, brand new. Took a risk, not earning millions of pounds, not earning a lot of money, just getting by. So, so when my ma and I, Jill died, and I didn't go to work for a year, that T-shirt kept me going in my head because I was packaging and posting and ordering, but it gave me enough to get by. So I'm thankful for that. So that's why I put as much into it as I do, lad, because I know that when I've needed it, it's been there, and so have the people who support me. So I can only thank people.
That's it. No, it's
fucking hell, I'm miserable, aren't
I? Nah, you know what? Like it's been boss to watch it sort of rise, and obviously, you know, like you might send me some designs and that before you put them out to see what I think, and even me just having that little bit of input, lad. It's just I feel like when I'm sharing it and stuff like that, and when you put stuff up of like all these ex-players and that wearing your stuff, like I get proud for you, lad. I almost get proud, like it's fucking my business as well. It's just boss to see, and
that's because you're a proper mate, that.
But that it's not even lad. But I get happy for like all the other boss little ones as well. Like, you know, there's loads of boss ones like Paul. All his t-shirts are boss as well, and when he gets stuff like that as well, I'm happy for him, and I share his stuff as well. But obviously for you, it's different. But I do, lad. I get a buzz out of it myself, and I've got nothing to do with it other than helping you share it a little bit. You know what I mean? So how it must feel for you, lad, is fucking must be skyrocketed.
Oh, it is. It's boss, but as you say, like I do, I speak to Paul, and like we're going to put our heads together and do something together at some point. Again, can't give him enough credit when I've been stuck on little things, because I'm by no means the best designer out there. Paul goes to me, "You're the best," and I'm like, "No, you're the best, and you're the best." But Paul's absolutely phenomenal at what he does, and I can't thank him enough for little tips here and there. Even things like me van. It was Paul. I messaged Paul and went, "I can't get these pixels right to get it as large as I want on my van. Can you sort it?" And he just sorted it, lad. Doesn't ask for nothing in return. You know, he's spot on. So we're going to try and get our heads together. I'm just getting myself by with the basics of fucking couldn't even touch the sides with the knowledge he's got of the whole criteria, the design and that. But I'm doing all right, and hopefully he is too. But yeah, there's loads of small businesses. I say there's been a few things in the past where you when you start off, you get a bit paranoid that other people are copying you, and you know, you feel like there is a rivalry with certain firms, and it's fucking stupid. It is really stupid when, you know, you've seen yourself. There's one who thinks I copy him because we put the same player's fucking name on a t-shirt, stuff like that. Like, oh, I've done a top for Szobo, so no one else can. It's bizarre. So I'm glad I'm out of that fucking trend now, where anyone who does a top similar to me, fucking so be it. If it's at the end of the day, you're using a player's name or a design that's already out there. For instance, say the fucking Uruguay flag or badge for Nunes.
Yeah.
Anyone can edit that to what they want. You haven't robbed the design. You've technically edited the design to suit what you like, and anyone can do that. If you brought out a brand new design, that's your design. The likes of my Gola bag one with the different stainies and the 7-pint tin on for the older generation. If anyone does similar to that, then I've got every right to go, "Come on, mate, that's fucking so alike mine, that." But all it takes is a message to say, "Listen, mate, I've already done something to that." And 9 times out of 10 people will go, "Fucking hell, sorry, mate." And that's how it works. But not that arse, lad.
No, people there's some out there like that are a bit like tribalistic with it, and this has got the same word on as mine, or fucking this has got the same colour on as mine. It's like, and what? Like and I, again, like you say, I know at the start you were a bit like that yourself, but that's only because you were starting out, and since then, obviously, you're not in that mindset now with it, but there is still people out there like that, and it's just mad. There's enough Liverpool fans in the world on Twitter for everyone to have a good fucking share of the success.
Exactly, lad. And if you're doing stuff people like, that's like the one thing I don't try and do is I don't try and gauge what people like. I bring out what I like and what I'd wear, and then sometimes I'll message you and go, do you reckon would you wear that? Or do you reckon can you see me in that sort of stuff? And it's like, well, there's been times where you go, maybe not. And I go, yeah, fucking I agree, actually. And then you start changing your mind and that. But
Yeah,
that's what I do. I bring out top. My wardrobe fucking there is literally, there's every one of my tops I've ever brought out is in that because I wear them. I don't just make them to sell to people. I don't have categories or whatever. I just make them and I like them. And I put them on the website. And if people like them, they buy them. And it's nice to be able to do that.
that's it. Well, now look, we know it's going to continue. People know where to find you by now.
I'm open to have a stall at least one game a month somewhere close to the stadium. But I won't say any more because it's in talks. But I am open that one game a month, I will have myself a little setup where people who are coming from abroad can order online and pay no shipping and come and pick up, which I'd love to be able to do because there's so much support from over the world. I get messages all the time, but because of Brexit and shit like that, lad, it is, some people are paying about the same as much as they pay for the top to just receive it, and it's vile. So I'm open. I can do that where I can say, right, I'll be in this area on this game, order your top, and I'll bring it with me. Come and grab it, and that'll be nice to be able to do that for the foreign supporters, and likewise, hopefully have a bit of stock there so people who are passing by can pick a few bits up. But I'll say no more.
No, definitely. But look, as I say, people know where to find you by now, but it's at Scouse Republic on Twitter. Same on Instagram, but doesn't underscore at the end. So make sure you are following and buying off him if you see anything you like. But look, I say Newcastle next week, so we will we'll be back obviously after that game, talk about that. But for now, up the Reds.
Up the Reds.